A flamenco song about freedom and with references to the Spanish Civil War? Let's talk about Remitente by Maria Pelae, Spain's potential entry for Eurovision 2024. Hello Eurovision friends, thank you so much for coming to my channel Eurovision Histories, where I do, among other things, lyric interpretations of Eurovision songs. And with this song, Remitente by Maria Pelae, I was on quite a journey because I loved it from the very first time I heard it. But with the lyrics at the beginning, I was like, what? And then I looked them up and I was still a little bit confused. I understood a bit more, but still quite confused. And I think that that's intentional. It's a song with very artsy, but very meaningful lyrics. And in this video, I want to talk about just that. Now, remitente means sender, and so the song is probably about a letter. But like a good thriller, the song keeps us in the dark until almost the end of the song about who sent this letter. Until Maria sings, let me tell you, the sender was called freedom. Maria actually elaborated on this in the presentation of the Benidorm songs when she said,
Pues esta carta lleva fraguándose tiempo. De hecho hay frases completas que las tenía yo apuntadas aquí tanto de mi abuelo como de mi abuela, de cosas que habían vivido, y me imaginé que la carta la hacía la misma libertad yéndose y advirtiendo de algunos errores de la historia que nos han llevado a momentos de mucho sufrir, y por eso quería meter mi parte personal y familiar.
So the lyrics aren't necessarily easily understood because they are interwoven with fragments of memories from her grandparents, maybe stories that they told Maria about times in the past, and she has added them into the song, and so it is a very personal song to her. She also says that it's about freedom going away, and there's lots of symbolism of this in the song, but she also says that it's about errors we made in history, and there are lots of references to history indeed in this song. The part of the lyrics that most clearly anchors us in a certain part of Spanish history is the 13 roses, the blue Barbie, which is a shirt for a little girl, and the bread lines. 13 roses, or Trece Rosas, is the name given to 13 young girls who were murdered by a Franquist firing squad at the end of the Spanish Civil War after being incarcerated and mistreated for days before their death. And after the Spanish Civil War, there was also lots of hunger and bread lines in Spain, so I think it refers to this time in Spanish history. But the most important reference in this song, arguably, is what comes right after this, and the disbandments, refugees that never return. And in this case, I left in the slightly awkward English translation disbandments, because in Spanish, she also uses quite a peculiar word, which is desbandas, instead of, for example, saying refugiados for refugees. And I think this is intentional, because in Andalusian Spanish, desbandá or la desbandá refers to a massacre during the Spanish Civil War that occurred in Malaga. And Maria Pelae herself is from Malaga. But while I couldn't find anything about her grandparents, I suppose that they are also from Malaga and might have lived through La Desbandá. In early 1937, the former stronghold of the Republic, Malaga, was surrounded by Franco's troops, and many people, estimates talk of up to 150,000, tried to flee the fighting in the city via the highway towards Almería, which was still held by Republican troops. While fleeing, they were attacked from the air and the sea by Franco's troops with the support of Italians and Germans. 3,000 to 5,000 people died. So I think this song jumps from fragments of memories of the Desbandá and the Spanish Civil War to more metaphorical representations of freedom going away, and that gives it this frantic feel. And that is just right because it recreates the feeling of displacement and pain that many people will have felt during the Desbandá. I tried to organize the lyrics by themes, but I think in the end, the franticness and the meaning of the song actually come across better if we follow the structure of the song. And so Maria begins by singing, "It got late for me, the sand was gone, it got late for me, and now chain." So you have time running out, which is a feeling that many people during the Desbandá will have had, with their town being surrounded more and more by enemy troops and them maybe not being able to get out anymore. However, it got late for me, and now chain also made me think of a chain reaction, because once you hit that point of no return and so many freedoms have been taken away that you cannot speak out anymore, you are actually in chains, as Maria sings. And she continues, "In a sigh, I saw your cave and all go inside, even though it hurts us." So when freedom goes away, you are pressed into a cave of thinking and living according to conformity. And this might make allusion to Plato's allegory of the cave as well, in which people have lived chained to a rock, and all that they can see is shadows dancing before them, and for them that's reality, even though it's not actually reality. And this might allude to the limited freedom of thinking in authoritarian systems. Also, in the video of the song, you see Maria in a small room with just one small light source, which reminds me of a prison or indeed a cave. And then she sings about the letter sent by freedom that talks about the joyful times of the past. "Forgive this letter that I give you without a seal or a stamp. In it, you have a list of all that we experienced before leaving." And she continues, "And now chew on it, and it can go out like a light, erasing and forgetting, stepping on, and whispering the silly hours. The joyful, free past is now being eliminated, and with freedom goes a way of life and the story of this way of life. And in the end, you are not allowed to talk about it anymore, just whisper." But I can also imagine someone leaving their home, being handed this letter by someone they love that talks about the good times that they shared together, because they might not be able to see each other again. "I am a reflection, a siren," she continues, "the raised arms of your grandmothers." Now, sirena in Spanish can mean mermaid, but I think in this case it is the sirens of the city under attack, or maybe also liberty ringing the warning bell. And then you have the arms of despair raised, and if it's old people or children, that makes this even more impactful and more meaningful. The black veil in a group of women as a symbol of mourning, two small dogs in the wallet. Now, peras chicas, or small dogs in this case, was a colloquial name for pennies in the pesetas, the currency Spain had before the euros. And she continues, "A ration of milk, a ration of pain." So again, a reference to the economic hardship that Spain had to face after the Civil War. "Take the toy with your right hand, don't talk back, and don't let your father find out." This lets me think of two things. If you're fleeing, you might not be able to take everything that you want to take, and the mom might be saying to the child, "Take the toy, but don't tell your dad because you're not supposed to take it." Or when she sings, "Take the toy with your right hand," that might also refer to the fact that during the time of Franco, people that were left-handed were forced to write with their right hand. And of course, talking back to your father is also not something that you should do in authoritarian systems. There was a lot of courage and a lot of heart to take steps forward and to be able to fly away. I think this might refer to Spain taking steps towards democracy at the end of the 70s and beginning of the 80s. "Who flew with you beyond what is forbidden, gave you their hand and the strength to give you what, thankfully, no one will gift to you. And now you go and leave her alone." I think the her being left alone here is freedom. And when she says, "No one gifts it to you," she's also talking about freedom, that you have to defend it, fight for it, and make sure that it works out in the end. And she continues saying that when she says, "Who gave you the voice and the voice and the voice and the voice that they are stealing from you? Don't let it go, my love, you'll be left without reason. When you switch off that voice, your voice will drown." This is quite clear to me. If you don't speak out in time, your voice might already be suppressed, might already be drowned out. And maybe this is something that her grandmother told Maria, and she is now relating it back. But I think there might be a more positive spin as well. I, my love, look how amazing it turned out to be. Respect and carnations, mending with pins. I think this part talks about Spain finding its way toward democracy. Carnations might be a reference to the Portuguese Revolution that brought democracy to Portugal as well, a bit before democracy was introduced in Spain as well. So I think this song is a message about the past and Maria Pelae's family history, but is also a message about the present and the future, about us having to safeguard our freedoms. And the song ends in Morse code, which spells out SOS, as does the video, very impactful. And during the song, I also heard a homophobic slur, which I think is in there intentionally. Maria Pelae is a member and a loud voice for the LGBT community, and so the song might also be about safeguarding this community's freedoms. And I think it is amazing that a flamenco song has this message about safeguarding freedom. You have the tradition, you have the message, you have really artsy and impactful lyrics. And so I love this song more the more I find out about the lyrics and the references that might be in there. I think I have probably missed half of them. If you know more, or if you have more interpretations of the song, or also if you think that I'm wrong about some of the interpretations, please let me know in the comments. Please subscribe to this channel. I do interpretation videos of lots of songs. I've already done Veronica and Rim Tim Tagidim, for example, of this year, also Mon Amour. So check that out. And I hope to see you for my next video. See you then, and bye-bye.